everybody, and welcome to Final Play Sports Rap. I'm your host, Pete Lubar, and today we're talking Mountain West Wrap Up with Week 13 now in the books. The Mountain West has become clearer, but yet still murky. It was a very interesting day, but on Friday, UNLV dashed the hopes of the Hawaii Rainbows for a conference championship by beating Hawaii 38-10 at home. The win keeps alive UNLV's championship's hope. Anthony Colandrea threw for 253 yards and 3 TDs, while the maligned Rebel defense held Michael Alejado to 168 yards and 1 TD and limited Hawaii to another 68 yards on the ground. And Hawaii scored first on a 70-yard touchdown, but then they were held to 3 points the rest of the game. Meanwhile, the Rebels put up 24 in the first half and another 14 in the second. So UNLV moves to 5-2, still alive, but not great odds. Hawaii moves to 4-3. They are officially out of the conference race as it stands right now. Utah State also created clarity in the conference race with a 28-17 upset victory over Fresno State. Utah State became bowl eligible with the win. Fresno led 17-7 at halftime on a 69-yard run by Rashawn Luke and a 43-yard pass TD from E.J. Warner. Utah State had 3 long scoring drives in the second half to get the win. Bryson Barnes had 150 yards passing and ran for 113 yards for the Aggies. Both teams now are 4-3 in conference, so mathematically eliminated from the conference championship at this point. New Mexico continue their improbable run towards a Mountain West title with a defensive-minded 20-3 win over the Air Force. It was the first win for Lobos over the Falcons in the Springs in 25 years, but the second in a row over the Falcons. They won last year as well. The Lobos jumped out to an early 17 lead and then absolutely smothered the Falcons, eliminating them to 3 points and 161 total yards on offense. They were only able to run for 110 yards on the ground, as they were missing starter quarterback Liam Sazarka. Lobos just absolutely smothered them against the run and against the pass. So New Mexico now is 5-2 and still has a path to a conference championship game. Boise State dominated CSU 49-21. They got out to a big lead, 35-7, before giving up a couple of fourth quarter touchdowns. Darius Curry, who started at quarterback for the Rams, had 3 interceptions for the second week in a row. He did that out in New Mexico last week. He also lost a fumble, which he also did last week. Boise, who has become offensively challenged the last 2 weeks, broke out and put up 533 total yards on the Rams. The Broncos remain in second place in the conference. They're tied with the Lobos at 5-2, but have a head-to-head advantage over New Mexico as they beat them earlier in the season. San Diego State, meanwhile, remains alone in first place in the conference with a victory over San Jose State, 25-3. The Aztecs put up 18 first-half points, which was more than enough to beat San Jose. The Spartans were plagued with turnovers, 2 interceptions, and special team mistakes with 2 missed field goals as well. Break up the Wolfpack. Nevada won its second game in a row with a hard-fought victory, 13-7 over Wyoming. Nevada's defense limited the Cowboys to 220 yards on total offense, 68 yards on the ground. I'd like to recap the highlights of the game, but it was a game of punts and missed field goals. There were 10 punts in the game and 3 missed field goals. And so that catches you up. We will look at the standings now. And as you can see, San Diego State is in first place at 6-1. And then you have 3 teams tied For second place, Boise State, New Mexico, and UNLV. So here's the sort of scenarios. If San Diego State wins, they end up in first place. And if Boise wins, they would play for the championship in San Diego. If San Diego wins and Boise loses, that means that New Mexico is now 6-2, and UNLV and New Mexico would be tied. Oh, San Diego State, sorry. If San Diego State wins, New Mexico loses. Boise loses, then UNLV with a win would be the second place team. So that's scenario 2. Scenario 3, New Mexico wins, which moves them to 6-2, and Boise loses, and then UNLV and San Diego and New Mexico would all be tied at 6-2. But New Mexico would host the championship against San Diego State or UNLV because they beat both of them during the regular season. If New Mexico wins, Boise wins, and UNLV wins, then you go to a complicated computer standings tiebreaker, and they use the average of 4 different computer rankings, and that current favor would be Boise's on the top of that, San Diego State second, UNLV is third, and New Mexico last. They're not that far apart, so it could be that if New Mexico did beat San Diego State, they might jump over either UNLV or Boise or whatever. But those are the scenarios, 1, 2, 3, 4 scenarios possible left for this weekend's game. The New Mexico game is on a Friday. The Boise game is on a Friday, so it's going to be an interesting Black Friday, but should be a lot of fun to see how that all shakes out. So if we look at who plays who this week, schedule-wise, Week 14, last week of the regular season, hard to believe the football is done for the year, although we got, 1,000 bowl games left, but San Diego State is playing at New Mexico, so that's probably the marquee game of the day. Boise is traveling to Utah State. Utah State is tough at home. That is not an easy layup for Boise. UNLV is traveling to Nevada. Rivalry game, although Nevada playing better lately, probably not good enough to beat UNLV. Fresno State is hosting or traveling to San Jose State in another rivalry game. Air Force is at CSU, and Wyoming is at Hawaii. So, interesting enough, if you look at the lines, the home team is a dog in every game except Hawaii. So, New Mexico is a 1.5 point dog. Utah State 3.5. Nevada 8.5. That New Mexico San Diego State game is going to be fun. If New Mexico plays up to their capabilities, I think they're equal to the task of beating San Diego State, who's traveling. So it would not surprise me if New Mexico won that game by, say, 3. And it would not surprise me at all if Utah State won their game against Boise, maybe something around 3 as well. UNLV should win that game easily, 8.5 point spread. And that's sort of the games for the week. So, a lot going on. That's my wrap up. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube page. If not, I hope you all have a blessed Thanksgiving, and we'll catch you on the other side. Thanks, everybody. Bye.